that just goes to show, as I told you before, that you have more power and you are capable of far more. There's usually universal signs that cause that. And those two signals are longing. So longing is when you want something that, or you desire something that is not in your field yet in your life. Or there's discontent, where you're not satisfied with a particular area of your life that you're wanting to improve. So those two things push us like a blade of grass trying to bust through concrete to grow. And that is what pushes us to get to better results instead of staying in the comfort zone, if you will. Just like Dr. Reverend Beckwith says, you are always pushed by pain until you are pulled by a vision. I love it. So let's get started. So the pain of a problem and a burning desire is always something new. That is what causes us to create new results. Now we are constantly creating new results. And I'll share a story with you of how I got in front of you today. So I was a hairstylist, as I said, for 27 years. I had a back injury about 15 years ago. So it limited the amount of time I could stand on my feet for hours a day. And because of that, I was limited to working part-time, even though I loved what I did. And I did yoga, and thank goodness I did yoga because they said I'd have probably been paralyzed otherwise. So I wanted to find another way to do something that I could do all the time. And at first I was like, okay, I'll learn how to do stocks. And so I learned how to trade stocks, but it wasn't the interaction and the helping. So I just felt like I needed something more. So I started talking to a couple of my clients who are psychologists, psychiatrists, and they said, why don't you be a coach? And I was like, well, I do therapy sessions all the time at work anyway as a hairstylist, so why not? So I started looking around and I wanted to find a program that would get results. I wanted to make sure I was right off the bat getting something that would make something better in everyone's lives. So that's how I found the Brave Thinking Institute, and I became certified through them. And now I'm also developing new programs to intertwine with that so I can get even better results. Matter of fact, I have a whole thing this weekend that I'll be going to. It's a very intensive workshop, and it is based on getting permanent results. And that's what I'm going for. So that's my story. And when I went through that, it wasn't easy. We all know that when an opportunity arises, sometimes it's not the most convenient time or comfortable time. So you just always got to keep rising for those opportunities, even if you're ready for it or not. So that is my story. So my promise to you today is I'm going to give you everything I've got in the time that we have together, and I hope that you walk away with some tools that you feel you can really use and utilize. Now, if you want to take that further at the end of this, and you want to invest in yourself and go a little bit further, then I have a gift for you at the end of this class. So let's go with the 3 keys. And so we are always creating results. How are we doing that? So we usually tend to create results a lot of times by default. That is what most people do. You get in the comfort zone, the status quo, and it's almost like autopilot. You're just kind of going through the day, and it's just kind of same old, same old. Or you can do it by design. And design is when you really take the time to find out what you really want, write those goals down, and then take steps to get there. So we're going to do that today. And these are the 4 domains that we tend to focus on more. So that is health and well-being, love and relationships, your vocation or your career, or how you share your gifts with the world, however that is, retired, what's your hobby, how do you do charity work, all of that. And then we have time and money freedom, which usually that's one that most of us want, one or the other or a little bit of both. So those are the ones we're going to focus on today because you're always getting results. How do you get results? Well, a lot of times we think the results are our causes, but it's from our thoughts. Thoughts, everything is created first in thought, then in form. The clothes, the screen, everything, your car, your bed, everything is first a thought before it becomes a thing. So that goes to feelings. Thoughts create feelings, feelings create actions, actions create results. So what are you thinking? Look at your results, because you want to call them your causes, but usually we call them our B causes. Oh, I really want to go start my own business, but I can't because this result, this current situation. Or you want to do this, but it's always from your thoughts. So your thoughts create your feelings, actions create results. I'll do a little example of that right now. Let's all have the feeling, oh my gosh, I lost my wallet. What do? You instantly like freak out, get a little worried, concerned. And then if you have the feeling, wait, think it's in my jacket pocket. And then you go and look in your jacket pocket and there it is. Then how do you feel? Right? Relief, like thank goodness, because you know what you gotta go through when you lose your wallet, and that's not fun. So that one little thought caused that feeling, and then it goes on into your results of how you're gonna feel. And most decisions are made through emotion. We like to think it's logical thinking, but it's usually through emotion. So your thoughts get to your feelings, so always keep intact and notice what you're noticing with that. Because this is what we do otherwise. Can't do this because. So you want to change that. What are your results doing? Your results never lie, so look at what you're thinking through your thoughts. So let's create new results. Notice what you're noticing. So I'm going to go back to what we started over there in the circle, and I invite you to take a deep breath and exhale through your mouth. That instantly converts to your parasympathetic nervous system, which is where you get relaxation and creation. That one little thing. So let's notice what we're noticing a little further. I invite you to just close your eyes for a minute, take another breath. And just feel the weight of your body in the chair you're in right now. Do you have any sensations going on? What do your feet feel like on the floor? Feel the air on your face. They're all noticing what you're noticing in your body. Then you can do that with your thoughts. Because we have 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day. And they're not all always positive. So let's go ahead and slowly open our eyes. And just pay attention to those thoughts. They say that even in a good relationship with your parents as you're growing up, that 0 from age birth to 18, 148,000 no's is what we hear. And most of the time it's to protect us from something. We go to touch the stove. No, don't do that. But sometimes those no's, they say that it takes 5 yeses to repair a no. So if you're hearing a negative thought about yourself, it takes 5 to make up for that. So a lot of times we'll do it and we won't even be conscious of it. Like, so stupid, I can't believe I did that. Those type of things that we do every day and don't even realize it half the time because we say it so much. So let's start to try and notice what we're noticing and change that up a little bit. So I'm gonna have you guys grab your pens and papers in a minute, and we're gonna do a life assessment. So we're gonna notice what's going on in our lives. So we're gonna go back to the 4 domains of our life, and we're also going to remember and remind ourselves that we all have a dream inside of us somewhere. And sometimes we've just kind of forgot about it. So let's bring that back up. Keep that going. Keep that in mind. All right. So we're going to do a current life assessment of what we're doing right now. And we're going to start with health and well-being. So on the health and well-being domain, we're going to do a rating in our life from 1 to 5. 1 being not so great, and then 5 being awesome. So on a rating of 1 to 5, where is that in that? What's your rating for your particular area of that life? Now, we're going to go to love and relationships. Write that down. And on a scale of 1 to 5 again, 1 being not so satisfied, 5 being completely satisfied. Where are you? Now, let's go to our vocation. How you express your skills and gifts to the world. On a 1 to 5 level, where are you? And then last but not least, time and money freedom. Maybe you have more money than time. Maybe you have more time than money. Maybe you want more of both. Just right where you're at right now. So now that we've done an evaluation and assessment of each area of our life, I want you to look at those, and I want you to circle the one with the lowest rating. And if there's 2 that match, go with the one that your gut says you want the most improvement on. Circle that. So now that we've done that, I want you to take it a step further, and I want you to ask yourself, how long have you had this longing for discontent in this one area of life that you want the biggest improvement on? How long has it been there? And what is it costing you? Because sometimes if you have a lower rating in one area, sometimes it bleeds into another area. So now that we've evaluated that and we've found where longing and discontent wants the highest attention, let's put our attention on it, because we all have a dream in there somewhere. So let's get to it. So let's go to key number 1, and that is designing your dream. So when you go to a builder and you say, I want a house, build me a happy house, what does that mean to him? He has no idea what that means, and your happy house might be very different than my happy house. So he needs details. He needs, where's the bedroom's gonna go? Is it an open floor plan, or is it more formal? Details. That is what's important. So we need to give a blueprint for our dream. You can't just say, I want a happy life, because then the universe is like, could you give me a little bit more detail on that? So just as Howard Thurman says, don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, because that's what the world needs. So think about that. I want you to dream big. Can I go back? Sure. Sorry. No, you got it. Absolutely. 100%. So this is an important statement. Clarity is power. It's okay. The more detailed you get with your dream and your goals and your vision and what you want, the better results you're going to get from it, because it's way more detail oriented, just like that blueprint for your house. So to prove this point of being more clear and clarity, we're going to play a little game. So there's a room, and I want you to look at this room. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to find as many things you can in this room that's yellow. Ready? Go. All right, stop. Got it? Now, tell me how many things that you saw were red. Just kidding. But that proves the point. That proves the point that I focused your attention on the yellow, so guess what? That's what you're seeing, yellow, yellow, yellow. And that is our reticular active system. So that is when you put a focus on something, the reticular activating system, that's what it focuses on. It's kind of like when you decide that I'm gonna get a red 4Runner for my car, then all of a sudden that's all you see. They're like everywhere, right? When you start noticing like, oh, you went to the zoo and you saw like tiger stuff, then all of a sudden you start seeing like more cat patterns and different things like that. That is your brain doing what it's supposed to do. Focus on what you put focus on. So if you put more detail in it, that's how it works. So now we're going to time travel, DeLorean style. So what we're going to do is we are going to go forward 3 years. And the reason we're going 3 years is because we can really overestimate what we can accomplish in 1 year, or even if we can accomplish it, our subconscious goes, well, you didn't do that last year, so why do you think you can do that this year? So we're going to go 3 years because your brain has no idea what you can accomplish in 3 years. So we're going to just outsmart it for a second and go 3 years ahead. We're going to get in our time machine and we're going to get to our future in that one area of your life where you're like, this is where I want to focus on, that biggest part I want improvement on. 3 years from now, it's all worked out. That area of your life is exactly how you want it. So take a minute. How do you want it? What is that one area of your life? How do you want it to look? Because we're going to add to it. We're going to do a little more homework. And this is how I want you to start it. I'm so happy and grateful now that, because it's all worked out. So once you put that down, because you are so happy and grateful, because it's all worked out exactly how you wanted it. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to write down your future. What does it look like? Who are you with? What are you doing? How does it feel? So just take a moment. Dream big. Another minute. More seconds. An interesting concept, isn't it? So how many of you wrote down things that maybe you didn't think of as much before you came into this room? And then how many of you ran out of ideas before the 2 minutes was up? And that is just building our muscle of clarity. So if you run out of ideas before the 2 minutes, it's okay. We're developing that muscle. But as you go on, you'll start to realize, like, oh, that would be nice too. I want to add that in there. I have a client who made an 80-page vision. She keeps adding to it all the time, and it's working. So you just keep going with it. So now that we've designed our dream, that is going to take us to the next key, and that is deciding for our dream. We want to decide for it. So when you decide for your dream, that is doing it in the presence, or absence, I should say, of knowing how. Like when we had that goal at the beginning that you said, I accomplished the goal and I had no idea how I was going to pull it off. That's how you did it. You decided for it. No matter what, I'm going to make this happen. And that's how you do it. So as Bob Proctor says, which I love, there's a single mental move you can make, which is in a millisecond will solve enormous problems for you. It has the potential to improve almost any personal or business situation wherever you will encounter. And it could literally propel you down the path to incredible success. And we have a name for this magic mental activity, and it is called decision. Once you decide on that, that puts that in your brain. That is a whole mental activity, and you have now decided, this is my goal, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to achieve. So you always want to keep that going no matter what. Decide for new results, because that's how you're going to get them. And this is a great example of how that works. So I want you to read this first, and then I'll read it again. Pretty cool, right? According to research at Stanford University, it doesn't matter what order the letters are in a word. Only the important thing is that the first and the last letter are in the right place. And this is because the human mind does not read every letter by itself, but the word as a whole. Isn't that amazing that our brains do that? I think that is so cool. So I did this for a point. Deciding for your results, we did a life assessment, so you know where you are now. And now we did time travel, and you wrote down where you want to go. That's the first and the last letter. And the how is the jumbled up words in the middle that we have no idea how that's going to happen. But we still can make it happen through our brains, and that's how our brain works. So the how doesn't matter. Kick that to the curb for right now. You know where you are now, and you know where you want to go. So those are the two important things, and then you decide on that. And that is key number 2. So key number 3 is befriending your fear. What does that mean? Making friends with your fear? That's exactly what it means. But that means that you can have fear, but you don't let fear have you. It doesn't get to drive anymore. Backseat, strapped in, on the ride, but not driving. Okay? Because you're going to hear these little fun things that love to talk in your head. Yeah, right, I'm going to do that. That's not going to happen. How are you going to do that? You don't have enough money or time to pull that off. Blah, 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 blah. They just love to talk. I'm sure we've all heard those, because I know I have. Those are your fun little paradigms. And that is fear, trying to bring you back to status quo, trying to reel you back in to the comfort zone so you don't grow. And that's okay. As long as you know what you're looking for. We've all had those voices, sometimes more than we want. So let's show how to get that. How do we get new results? Now we need to find out how fear talks to us. And that is through 3 Ds. So if you've made a goal and you decided that you want to do it, it's going to come back. And it's not if, it's when. When is it going to come up? And these are the ways. Delays and distractions. When you're like, oh, I was going to work on this thing to start my business, but I should check the social media, or I need to do my laundry, or something of that sort. It delays and distracts you. And then the second one dissuasion. So let's say you were on a goal of, I'm gonna get healthier and I'm gonna walk 2 miles a day, and it's been 2 weeks, and all of a sudden you're like, just not seeing the results I was hoping, so should I even bother? Those types of things. And then straight up DEFCON, where you just freak out. You completely freak out, and it's either flight or fight, or even worse, freeze, where you make no decision at all, and you just can't even handle it at all. So these are the things to look out for. Remember to notice what you're noticing? That is something to look out for. And then when you see it, now you know what it is. It's your paradigms trying to tell you, don't do that, come on back. But it's good news because it means you're growing. And it means that you are just stepping out of your comfort zone and going to a new level, and you're evolving, and you're growing. So that's how you want to feel. Get all excited about your goal, get all excited, and like, heck yeah, we're gonna pull this off. And then those little paradigms are kind of come in, and then you're gonna feel like this. What if I fail? What if I fail? And guess what? We've all failed. We have all failed, and we're all still here. It still happened. We're still here. And this is a perfect example of how we've all failed before. He's trying to learn how to walk. Now, all of us at one time were non-walkers. There was a time that none of us could do what we're doing right now. And guess what? One day you were looking around at all the adults around you as a baby, and you're like, you're walking around on your hind legs, and they're like, I want that. How do I get that? So I can get to that cookie I've been staring at the table over there. How do I get there? So you finally had enough one day, and you stood up on your little shaky hind legs, and you started to take a step, and then what happened? Fell down, right? And then you stood up again, and you got yourself back up, and then all of a sudden, you fell down again, and then you fell down again. But you never once, as a baby, sat down and goes, well, I guess that's it. I guess I'm a non-walker. Just like, I'm not going to be a walker. That's it. It's not in the cards for me. So why do we do that as adults? Why do we sit and go, well, I guess love's just not in the cards for me. Or I guess success is not in the cards for me, or starting a business. You can fail, and then you get success. It's actually a prerequisite. And guess what else you have? Add support. Somebody cheering them on. You can do this. So you have support, and you keep trying every time when you fall down. That's how you learn how to walk. I'm going to show you a few people that you think are so successful but never failed. Well, let's show you how that works. Might know her, Oprah Winfrey. So when she first started TV, she was fired, guess what for? Being not fit for TV. Really? So there's that. And let's show you a couple others. Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the Soul. His proposal for his book got rejected 144 times. And now he has 250 editions of it worldwide. What if he would have taken the first 100 and well, guess I'm just not supposed to be a successful author. Or maybe this guy, Disney. This is my favorite. He was fired from a newspaper, of all things, lacking imagination. Now, what if he, as the young guy he was then, would have believed this guy? What if he would have believed him and like, yes, I don't have imagination. Look at all the things we would have missed out on if he would have believed that. Failure leads to success. You can just keep going because it's always a prerequisite. And fear will always keep trying to pull you back. But you've got to keep going. So befriend that fear. We can ride with you, but it doesn't get to drive. So there's going to be a part of you that is ready to grow and expand and let's do this. And then you're going to have a part that wants to play small. That's your fear. But when you have that, and those little paradigms and the delays and the distractions and the freakouts, just take it out. Not today, fear. not today, because now you know how to listen for it. So once you do that, go back to your vision, go back to your goal. What is it that you want to accomplish? And then I want you to take action on it. So I want you to be, what is one step that I can take in the next 24 hours that will make me one step closer to my goal, my dream, my vision? And it doesn't have to be something big. We all have to like get a bank loan for $1 million so I can open up my business. That is not the case. I mean, yeah, it'll get there eventually, but it's not that. Go make some business cards. Go on Google and learn how to write a business plan. If you want to meet someone, go to some meetups in an interest, or go to a charity where people of interest, like you like dogs, go volunteer at the Humane Society. There might be somebody there that you're going to meet that you guys have this connection with dogs. It could be anything. Maybe you wanted to be a chef. Take a cooking class. There's a million things online that you can even do for free. So what's the one thing that you can do? Because baby steps will get you to Mount Everest. So always keep that in mind. So now we've befriended our fear. We know what to look for. So let's go over what we're doing. We've expanded your awareness, just like I showed you in the pattern of the room and the colors, and that is your reticular activating system. Keep that in mind. To change your results, you need to change your thoughts, the way you think. Pay attention to what it's telling you. Don't let those negative, I can't do that. Don't say that anymore. Just say, I don't know how to do it yet. Because you can do it. You can do anything. Generate new ideas. The best way to do that is, what would I love? What's your passion? What makes you just light up as soon as you think about it? What are those things? Because that's what I want you to focus on and how to do it. We've mastered 3 keys: designing your dream, get clear on your blueprint, get clear on your vision and what you want to accomplish, and deciding for it, in the absence of knowing how you're going to do that, and then befriending your fear. Don't let it drive. Just hang out with you. Because it's telling you it's good. It's just doing it in not the best way. It usually is trying to protect you. So, always remember this. You are worthy of your dream and living a life that you love. We are all here. We did not come to this earth to have a ho-hum. We want to excel, and we want to be passionate, and we want to care for each other, and we want to share our passions with each other. Because that's what makes it a beautiful place. Bless you. All right. So here's my gift to you. If you have found any of this information and the keys helpful, and if you think you could really, you really integrated that, that's 3 of the 10 steps that I teach. And if you think that can help you, then integrate what you've learned today. And if you want to take it a step further, then I have a few scheduled sessions that I always keep open for a call, for a strategy session, so we can blueprint your design, see where you really are, and get like crystal clear on what you really want. And if you want to do that, I usually have a book out for about 30 minutes to an hour. It takes about 30 minutes to an hour, just to make sure we got it all set and got plenty of time to talk. So that will be my gift to you if you want to invest in yourself and take it a step further. But otherwise, just integrate those things that I have taught you today. But I have some contact sheets if you want to contact me later, or if you find that any of the call times don't work for you, just let me know. So I want to leave you with a couple of quotes. So William H. Henry, he is the first person that ever summited Mount Everest, and he almost missed it. He had 2 opportunities to go with another expedition, and he turned it down the first 2 times because he didn't have the money to go. He didn't know how he was going to pull that off, so he turned it down twice. The first time they did it, They got really close, but they didn't make it. And went again, and he went and turned it down again. And the last time, the guy who was taking him, he said, I want you to go with me because I'm going and I'm going to make it this time. So he did it. He still didn't have the money, but he's like, he asked a different question. Instead of how much is the whole thing going to cost, he asked, how much is the deposit? And he did it. And he came up with the rest of the funds, and he went, and because of William H. Henry, he actually found the South Side route to actually sell it. And then he wrote a book about it, and he realized that the magic in deciding for the dream, even though we had no idea how he was going to pull it off, this is one of the main things that he came up with. So absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. So just because you don't have all of the details planned out on how you're going to pull this off, doesn't mean you can't. So just keep that in mind. And then, my favorite one from Gertzer is whatever you can do or dream that you can do, begin it. Because boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Let me say that one more time. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Because boldness has genius, power, and magic in it, and so do all of you. So thank you for your time. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope that you integrate those steps. And we will go from there. Thank you. Thank you.
Another big round of applause for Christy Shadowens.
Thank you.
Okay. We have some fun stuff coming up. There's 5 weeks in June, so the last Thursday of this month, we are going to do a day of service. We'll talk a little bit more about that.
We're looking to do a trail cleanup. Has anyone done anything like this before? Yeah, it's really nice. We get out and we get to enjoy the fresh air and your friends and walk around, and we'll have all the supplies, obviously, to gloves and things like that. So we thought we'd get back to our local community. Some other stuff. So our next meeting, the third Thursday of the month, is June 15th. It's Love Your Business, Love Yourself with Phil Stone. We will have a meeting the first Thursday in July. It's Empathy, Insight, and Connection with our dear friend Alice. Oh, hi, Alice. So Alice was speaking. Don't miss that one. That is July 6th. And then please listen to this very carefully so no one shows up here on July 20th at 7 a.m. We are skipping the third Thursday in July because we're doing our summer picnic. So you probably saw this on the Save the Date on our Facebook and Instagram. Our picnic is over at Morris Park. We've done this every year for I don't know how many years. Jeremy's going to do all the grilling. It's from 4 to 7 on July 30th. So keep that in mind. I'm sorry, July 20th. So 4 to 7, yes. And a little birdie told me that we might have a permit for beer and wine. What? Now he's coming. That's all I have for enough. Oh, keep some other dates in mind. So we've got our cleanup. We'll post that on our newsletter. We'll post that on our Facebook and Instagram for the cleanup. Our picnic July, and then August, we're still working on all the details for our car show towards the end of the month, August 26th. So just keep a lookout for that. And then I've been putting this off because I've been getting through everybody else first, but we have our BHS Spotlight member this week. Remember, with your $99 membership, you get some perks, including posting in our BHS Facebook group, all your events and things like that. But you also get a feature, and this week, she's a little behind. So you'll see that on there, but so I was trying to think of things you might not know about me because I've been coming here to BHS. I found this place in 2019 thanks to Facebook because all those algorithms. It's like, you might like this group, and sure enough, I did. But I'm pretty active outside of real estate. You guys probably follow me on Facebook, maybe, but I kayak quite a bit. Got out for the first time on Bear Lake the other night. I snowboard, I trail run, and I'm a diehard Buffalo Bills fan. Yes. Just got my tickets for Bills at Kansas City and Broncos at Buffalo this year. I'm pretty excited. And I spend a lot of my time, I've been a volunteer in some form or fashion since I was in high school. My mom found this summer program at the hospital near my high school, and that's pretty much what started me volunteering, and I've been doing it ever since. And the Action Center is one of my babies, and the Colorado Pet Pantry I love also, and I support the Wild Animal Sanctuary, and I'll be running a race there on Saturday. Support the animals. That's me. I really just, I'm like, going through the list, we need more members, so pay your membership, and I'll get you guys featured on our, it'll be a feature in the newsletter, our Facebook page, Facebook group, Instagram. It's something you guys can really showcase, and it's really easy. I give you a nice little template, so you can fill out the questions and get you posted, and you can showcase that to all of your clients and friends and family as well.
Are there any shout outs? Anybody do business?
I know. I don't have a shout out. I have a continued spotlight. So I want to ask in this room, who's been affected by the positive attitude of this house? I mean, talk about influence of the group. I've been in VHS for probably 8 years, maybe. Oh, probably started coming shortly after I moved here. Just love you, Allison. I love what you do, and I just love how you help in the newness.